Okay, so today let's have a quick chat about external exercises to help your RE stance performance, such as spin bikes, jump rope, treadmills, swimming. Those are generally the four that we get questioned on quite a lot. Let's firstly have a look at jump rope. Jump rope is a fantastic way to replicate the RE stance movement. What you want to think about when you're choosing any other exercise is that the movement patterns must mimic or replicate the actions of your sport. So if dancing is an upright position, then the muscle fibers are going to fire in that specific line. You want to try and mimic any external training that is aimed at improving your dance performance. It must be in the same type of position to have any real carry across. So a jump rope would definitely be something that would be in the same position. Now, the downside of the jump rope is the fact that a lot of dancers aren't taught how to absorb force properly, and that's okay. That's not something that a teacher should have to do. The teacher's there to train you to how to dance, all right? But a lot of dancers land very heavy. There's, on top of that, even for the ones that don't land heavy, there's still so much impact in your sport. You guys are already doing 4, 5, 6 sessions per week, training at home on hard floors and hard shoes. So the inflammation and impact in your joints, shins, knees, ankles is already very extreme. So when we look at training outside of dance, we want to do two things. We want to replicate as much movement patterns as possible, but we also want to try and minimize the impact as possible. So jump rope is fantastic. Would I do it for 30 minutes? You would need to be able to absorb a lot of force properly. And absorbing force, what I mean by that is you should be able to land without hearing yourself on the ground. If you can hear your feet impact, you know that there's too much force being lost through the ground, and excess energy is going to be wasted. So if you can do that, by all means, but I would really try and limit the amount of impact work that you do outside of dancing. The other movement then you have is, let's look at a spin bike. The issue that you guys have with spin bikes is that dancing, you don't get a lot of knee bend, so your position is upright. Your knees only bend about 15 degrees when you take off and land. Now, if you are in a deep squat position, or the position that someone's in on a bike, your knee is bent quite a lot. Now, the other issue with that is you're seated, so your glutes aren't working very well. You're hunched over, so your core doesn't work very well. Your posture is extremely bad. You get a lot of tight hip movements, and also you have to think about the movement of the pedal. So what happens when you cycle is that you push the pedal, but you never pull it. So the quads are getting a lot of work, and the hamstrings are never getting a pull. So that movement doesn't replicate dancing very, very much. But what we could do is we could stand on the spin bike. So you could remove the seat, stand up. You can increase the intensity right up, and you could really go for a hard drive down. That's going to allow you to be in an upright, good postural position, and it's going to allow you to train the calves explosively to push against resistance. Now, that resistance on a spin bike would mimic your resistance of your body weight on stage, and suddenly that's going to help you jump higher, but also train your fast twitch muscle fibers to last for longer, which is what we were talking about in the HICT training video. So that would be okay in that position. Swimming, there's not really much carry across. You've got an extra resistance to look at in terms of water. So swimmers are great when it comes to resisting water tension, but when they're walking on land, sometimes their stability can be a little bit off because they're used to counteracting the water force. You guys don't have any forces on stage, you don't have any wind, and you don't have any water. So for me, swimming's not going to replicate. However, it's great for general preparation in the off season, or if you have an injury, or if you have a lot of inflammation and etc. in your joints, that would be helpful also. So we've covered swimming, we've covered spin bikes, we've covered jump rope, and then the final one we would have to look at is just running. Running is a really good tool because it's an upright position and it uses a lot of the movements that you do in dance. The other thing you got to remember is that most people run in a linear movement, which is just straight. So you need to include a lot of lateral movements or side to side work, especially before competition. If you look at footballers or NFL players, they'll be doing lots of side to side and rotational movements because that's how they are on the pitch, and it's the same for dancing. You guys are moving the whole body, rotation, acceleration, and then you just get your jump movements in there as well. So I hope that helps include extra work outside your dance class. Always limit impact as much as possible. Your number one job is to stay injury free, and number two job is to perform as best as possible. It must be in that order.